NFL fans, it is time once again for another episode of the PFIve here on the Pro Football Insiders. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to go ahead and check out another one of the NFC North teams as we look at all 32 teams here in the National Football League as the slate of games gets ready to get started in a little over a week. Let's go take a look at one of the most disappointing teams in the postseason last season. It is the 15-2, or should I say 15-3 because of the playoffs, the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell's team was one of the best teams in the entire league last year, but injuries really destroyed this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. What will happen in year number 2 of this program that is supposed to be favorites to win it all? Let's start out with number 1. Dan Campbell believes that the Lions are better on both sides of the ball. So here's the thing. That's a crazy thing sometimes to hear from a guy that just lost both his offensive coordinator and his defensive coordinator. But despite losing both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn respectively to head coaching jobs in Chicago and with the New York Jets, the Lions have the personnel to go far, and they did a very good job in making sure that it happens again in 2025. This time they just want to go further. How are they going to replace the offensive genius Ben Johnson of this team? That's number 2. It's John Morton. Morton is back after 2 years as the pass game coordinator for the Denver Broncos. Now, in 2021, you might remember that John Morton was one of the guys that helped Ben Johnson create this offense here for Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. So really interesting stuff. They have the personnel to do it. Now, this guy's only 30, but Jared Goff at quarterback has got it all together. He looks like a guy that should have been drafted number 1 overall and is really getting things done in a quiet way. Can he finally win the Super Bowl with this team? We will see this year, but he had a very fine season last year, and he has so many players to complement. Let's talk about number 3, his skill position players. Now look at this. You've got the second best running back duo in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery in the entire league. They combined for 3,116 yards from scrimmage and 32 touchdowns. Now, Montgomery is your hard-nosed runner, and Gibbs is the guy that's the breakaway threat. He's the number 1 guy there, but Montgomery is the best RB2, if you can even call him that, in the entire National Football League. Now, number 3, Goff. He's in his prime, like we said. And those dynamic receivers that he has, well, the pass catchers are Amon-Ra Brown. You know the contract that he received not that long ago, and you know how good St. Brown is. Jameson Williams is a fantastic number 2 if he could stay on the field for various reasons. And the tight end Sam Laporta is another valuable pass catcher for Jared Goff. Goff will be protected, and that's number 4. The offensive line is fantastic. They did lose guard Kevin Zeitler, but they do have so many great players on that side of the ball. You've got Taylor Decker there, Penny Sewell as well, and don't forget the fact that you have just one of the most fantastic players in Frank Ragnow on that offensive line. Now, let's look at one thing, though. It's not deep. If something happens here to one of these players that I mentioned, there's not much behind them. So they've got to make sure that they either bring somebody else in for depth or make sure that they do some kind of voodoo, because they need to keep those players healthy. Because if you have one of those guys go down, that offensive line is going to be in trouble. All right, number 5. Here's another thing, the defense. Now, it's not as deep in the cornerback and safety position as well. They lost some players there. They also lost safety Ennis Rakestraw for the year. Terrion Arnold is there. He got a great contract. He is a fantastic player. Someone really, you got to be really excited about. And then other guys, ball hawks in Brian Branch and Kerby Joseph. Those guys will really help protect your back end. But the one guy that you're glad to have back, he's all world. And it looks like Aidan Hutchinson, if he is healthy, he could be an NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I think he was well on his way to that last year before going down. This is a very interesting team. They were 15-2 last year. They don't have to be 15-2 this year, but they do need to be 3-0 in the playoffs. And that means they need to be Super Bowl champions. We will see what happens. As always, you'll have it all right here on the Pro Football Insiders. Make sure you check out PFI for all of your professional football needs, wherever you download your favorite podcast or watch it right here on YouTube and anything else that you're checking us out on. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. We've got 2 things to say to you, and it's simple, just 2 words, and that's go football.